The morning of her wedding, Jane didn't walk down the aisle. She stormed into Daniel's suite, threw the phone at him, and screamed, "You slept with my best friend?" Boom. Welcome to Tales by Steph, a home of interesting African stories. Jane was the kind of woman who believed in fairy tales, not the flying carpet kind, but the real ones, the slow, steady kind of love, the love that was built on loyalty, commitment, and quiet consistency. Jane and Lisa met during their first year in the university. They were both new, shy, and seated next to each other on the first day of class. While others already had friends, Jane and Lisa bonded over their shared love for books and quiet laughter during boring lectures. From there, their friendship blossomed. They walked home together, became roommates in school, shared secrets together. Lisa spent holidays at Jane's house whenever they are on holidays, and Jane's mother treated her like a second daughter. They were so close to the extent they dreamt of being each other's maid of honor. Lisa's jealousy toward Jane didn't happen overnight. It grew silently the few years they had been together, fed by comparison and hidden insecurities. From the outside, Lisa had everything: beauty, charm, and confidence. But inside, she often felt like a shadow standing beside Jane's quiet strength. Jane had a calm grace that drew people in without trying. Lecturers liked her, guys respected her, and even strangers seemed to trust her instantly. Lisa, on the other hand, had to work twice as hard to be seen. Jane and Daniel met in their second year at university. They were both enrolled in a compulsory entrepreneurship course, and as fate would have it, they were randomly assigned to the same group for a class project. Jane, ever organized and calm, quickly took charge of the group's planning, while Daniel, quiet but intelligent, offered brilliant ideas that made their presentation stand out. Their connection started off purely academic: late-night group chats, library meetups, and project rehearsals. But as the project wrapped up, Daniel started finding reasons to talk to Jane outside of class. He'd walk her to the hostel after lectures, bring her snacks during study hours, and stay back just to keep her company. Jane admired his humility, drive, and the way he paid attention to details, even the ones she thought no one noticed. Daniel, on the other hand, was drawn to her kindness, her strength, and her steady presence. Eventually, he asked her out over meat pie and Coke after class one day, stuttering nervously. She smiled and said yes. From there, their love story grew, sweet, simple, and solid. Jane went out with Daniel. She called Lisa to come join them so she could use the opportunity to introduce her to Daniel, and Lisa joined them shortly after, dressed stylishly as always, her smile wide and confident. "So this is the famous Daniel," she said, reaching out to shake his hand. "You must be doing something right. I've never seen Jane this soft." They all laughed, and the evening flowed smoothly, at least on the surface. Daniel found Lisa bold, funny, and sharp-tongued. Lisa, on the other hand, watched him closely, how he held Jane's hand, how he looked at her with admiration. Something inside her shifted that night. She masked it well, but a small voice whispered, "Why not me?" Jane, oblivious, was just happy her two worlds had collided nicely. She left that night thinking she had the perfect triangle: love, loyalty, and friendship. She didn't know she had just handed her heart to the wrong friend, on a silver platter. 2 years after university, Daniel decided it was finally time. He wanted the proposal to be unforgettable, simple but meaningful. And what better day than Jane's birthday? He started planning weeks in advance, secretly coordinating with Lisa, Jane's best friend. Lisa was thrilled, or at least she pretended to be. "I'll handle her outfit," Lisa insisted. "Leave that part to me." On the morning of Jane's birthday, Lisa came over with a beautiful emerald green dress, soft silk, elegant neckline, and matching heels. "You're going to look like a queen tonight," she smiled, helping Jane get dressed. Jane blushed. Are we just going for dinner? Lisa grinned. Girl, just trust me. That evening, Daniel took Jane to a rooftop restaurant lit with fairy lights. As the sun dipped behind the city skyline, he got down on one knee. Jane, you are my calm, my strength, and my answered prayer. Will you marry me? Jane gasped, covering her mouth as tears filled her eyes. Yes. Lisa stood in the shadows, clapping with everyone else, her face glowing with a wide smile. But deep inside, she wasn't celebrating. She was calculating, because the dress she picked that night wasn't just for beauty. It was for war. Jane turned and hugged Lisa. Thank you, Lisa. You chose the perfect dress. Lisa smiled. Of course, you deserve it. But inside she was screaming. She didn't deserve it. I did. Jane said to Lisa, You are definitely going to be my chief bridesmaid. Jane trusted her completely, like a sister. What Jane didn't see, however, was the envy Lisa had masked for her. Lisa didn't just want what Jane had, she wanted to be Jane. And when the opportunity came, she didn't hesitate. Their decades-long friendship meant nothing to her in that moment. All that mattered was taking what wasn't hers, and smiling while doing. Lisa started planting seeds of doubt in Daniel's mind months before the wedding, always subtly, always with a smile. It began with harmless comments. Jane is sweet, but don't you ever feel like she hides her feelings too much? Or, I just want you to be sure you're marrying someone who truly understands you. At first, Daniel brushed it off, but Lisa was persistent. Whenever Jane wasn't around, Lisa would slide into deeper conversations, leaning in closer, speaking in soft, persuasive tones. She'd say things like, You and I connect in a way that feels more natural, or, I see the real you. Jane only sees what she wants to see. She used moments when Daniel and Jane had disagreements to drive her point home, saying, You two argue more than you admit. Love isn't supposed to feel that hard. One night, after a tense exchange between Daniel and Jane, Lisa found him alone. She looked him in the eyes and said, You're settling, Daniel. And deep down, you know it. Then she kissed him, and he didn't pull away. From that moment, her mission was complete. She didn't just want to ruin Jane's life. She wanted Daniel to believe Jane was never the one for him. Daniel didn't say a word after the kiss. He stood there, breathing heavily, guilt battling with something darker. Curiosity. Lisa's lips still tingled on his skin, and though everything in him told him it was wrong, he didn't stop her. Lisa stepped back slowly, her eyes locked on his. I know what you're thinking, she said softly, but you don't have to lie to yourself anymore. He opened his mouth to speak, maybe to protest, maybe to apologize, but no words came. I see you, she whispered, not the version Jane wants, the real you, and you don't have to pretend with me. Then she walked away, leaving Daniel standing there, confused, tempted, and weak. That night, he didn't tell Jane. Instead, he acted normal. Daniel couldn't sleep. The kiss haunted him, not just the act, but the fact that he hadn't stopped it. He kept telling himself it meant nothing, that it was just heat-of-the-moment confusion. But the longer he stayed silent, the more power it held over him. The next evening, after Jane left for a bridal makeup trial, Daniel texted Lisa. We need to talk. Now alone. Lisa stepped out of a taxi with a smirk. Finally ready to talk about it? They met in the parking lot behind Jane's apartment. It was dark, quiet, private, just the kind of place secrets liked to breathe. Daniel crossed his arms. What happened the other night was a mistake. She tilted her head. Was it? Yes. It shouldn't have happened. But it did, she said calmly. And you didn't stop it, Daniel. You kissed me back. He ran a hand over his face, frustrated. Because I was confused. You caught me at a low moment. Lisa stepped closer. No, Daniel. I caught you in a real moment. One where you didn't have to pretend. You felt something. Don't lie to yourself. Daniel's voice rose slightly. I love Jane. Lisa smiled faintly. Then why do you keep replaying that kiss in your head? He went silent. Lisa leaned in, lowering her voice. Look me in the eye and tell me Jane sees you, really sees you, the way I do. Daniel hesitated, and in that hesitation Lisa saw her victory inch closer. Don't be a coward, Daniel, she whispered. This wedding is just routine for you, habit. You're not marrying her because you want to. You're doing it because you're supposed to. He swallowed hard. She wasn't entirely wrong, and that scared him more than the kiss. I need time, he muttered. You don't have time, Lisa said. You're getting married in 3 days. If you're going to break a heart, at least don't break your own, too. Then she walked away, again, leaving Daniel in the dark, alone, torn, and dangerously close to betrayal. The hotel suite was filled with laughter, music, and clinking glasses of wine. Jane sat in the middle of the bridal suite, surrounded by her bridesmaids, all in silk robes with their names embroidered on the back, ready for the bridal shower. Tomorrow, Mrs. Jane Daniel, one of them teased. Jane blushed, covering her face. Stop it, please. You girls will make me cry. Lisa poured another glass of rosé and handed it to her. Cry tomorrow, babe. Tonight we celebrate, she said, laughing as she tossed a pillow at one of the bridesmaids. She looked like the perfect best friend, dancing, posing for pictures, even fixing Jane's robe every now and then. But inside, Lisa was counting down, not to the wedding, to the moment Jane would be destroyed. Across the hotel, the groomsmen were gathered in Daniel's suite, music low, drinks flowing, everyone relaxed. Daniel smiled, but it never reached his eyes. Every time his phone buzzed, he checked it, hoping, fearing, and waiting. Around 11:26 p.m., he excused himself. Just going to grab something from the concierge, he lied. He took the elevator to the 3rd floor. Lisa's room, room 308. Lisa slipped out of Jane's suite around the same time, saying she needed to check on the dress one more time. No one questioned it. Jane even kissed her on the cheek. I love you, Lisa. I don't know how I'd survive this wedding without you. Lisa smiled, her voice soft. I love you too, babe. 15 minutes later, she opened her hotel room door, and Daniel was standing there. She looked at him calmly. You came. He stepped in. Lisa, this is wrong, he said, but his feet didn't move. She shut the door behind him. Silence. Then a kiss. That night, while Jane danced and laughed, her best friend and her husband-to-be crossed a line that could never be erased. No guilt, no hesitation, just betrayal wrapped in silence. And the worst part, Lisa didn't feel sorry. She felt victorious. The wedding day came. Jane woke up with a smile on her face. Today was the day, her wedding day. Sunlight poured through the hotel curtains as her girls began to stir, giggling and stretching in their matching robes. The room was buzzing with excitement, soft music playing, makeup kits opening, hair tools heating. Where is Lisa? Jane said. One of the girls said maybe she is still sleeping. Jane said by this time. Lisa walked in carrying breakfast trays, her face glowing. No sign of guilt, no crack in her smile. Jane was happy seeing Lisa. I thought you were still asleep, Jane said. Bride-to-be, Lisa sang, placing a tray by Jane's bed. Jane stretched and laughed. You're the best, Lisa. Lisa leaned down and hugged her. Anything for you. But as she hugged her, her eyes opened and stared coldly into the distance, her face hidden behind Jane's shoulder. She had slept with Daniel just hours ago. Meanwhile, Daniel sat alone in his suite. The groomsmen were already dressed and hyped, but he wasn't moving. His hands shook as he tried to knot his tie. He couldn't look in the mirror. He couldn't look at himself. He hadn't slept. And he hadn't responded to Lisa's last message because she had done the unthinkable. She had sent Jane a photo. 9:17 a.m. Jane's phone buzzed. She was sitting in front of the mirror halfway through her makeup. The makeup artist was applying blush, Lisa talking about how perfect the ceremony would be. Then Jane frowned. "Who sent me something this early?" She opened her phone and froze. Everything around her became a blur. On her screen was a picture. Daniel's watch, Lisa's leg, a familiar hotel bedsheet. Caption: "Some of us didn't wait for vows." The room went silent. Jane's hand dropped. Her phone clattered to the floor. Lisa stood behind her, quiet now, expression unreadable. Jane turned slowly, her voice barely above a whisper. "Lisa, what is this?" Lisa tilted her head, shrugged, and smiled faintly. "The truth." The makeup artist stepped back, stunned. Jane stood up slowly, heart pounding, vision blurred with tears. "You slept with him? And you sent me proof?" Lisa's smile widened. "I figured you deserved to know, before walking down the aisle to a man who didn't really choose you." The room exploded into chaos. She didn't deny it. She crossed her arms slowly, tilted her head, and looked Jane in the eye with a smirk. Then she said it. "You think you'll have everything and go scot-free?" Jane blinked, stunned. "What?" Lisa stepped forward, voice rising now, eyes flashing. "Perfect Jane, the calm one, the good girl, the one everyone loves. You get the dream man, the fairy tale wedding, the perfect life, and what do I get? Scraps." "You were my best friend," Jane whispered. Lisa laughed bitterly. "No, I was your shadow. I fixed your dress, picked your shoes, held your hand, while you got the love I was never even considered for." Tears streamed down Jane's face. "So this is your revenge? Sleeping with him?" Lisa's voice turned cold. "Number, this is reality. For once I decided to stop clapping for you and take what should have been mine." Tears, screams, makeup smeared, bridesmaids dragging Lisa out, Jane collapsing into a chair, sobbing, mascara streaking her cheeks. And all the while, Lisa didn't cry. She didn't explain. She didn't regret. Jane wiped her tears, stood up slowly, and walked out of the suite barefoot, dress half-zipped, heart shattered. She marched straight to Daniel's room. When he opened the door and saw her face, he froze. No words. No lies. She threw the phone at his chest. "Did you?" He looked down, then looked away. That was all the answer she needed. Jane's voice cracked. "You were supposed to be my safe place." He reached for her. She stepped back. "Don't." Then she whispered, "You and Lisa deserve each other." And with that, Jane walked away, her wedding dress never worn, her heart in pieces. As Jane stormed off, the groomsmen surrounded Daniel, confused. "Bro, what just happened?" Daniel stood silent, eyes heavy. One of them shook his head. "Tell me you didn't mess this up, man." Another sighed. "You had a good woman." The room fell quiet. Disappointment hung in the air like smoke. Lisa was already gone. She checked out of the hotel 30 minutes after the blow-up, head held high, no shame in her steps. Clutching her purse, she walked past the lobby like nothing happened. No apology, no goodbye. Because in her mind, she hadn't lost. She had simply won. Back at the hotel, chaos spread like wildfire. Guests began arriving, unaware the wedding was unraveling. Jane, still in her robe, walked through the lobby with mascara-streaked cheeks and swollen eyes. The staff whispered, cameras flashed, but she didn't stop. She climbed into a waiting cab, silent, broken, but done. Daniel burst out minutes later, searching the parking lot, panic on his face. Jane, please." But she was gone. The groomsmen stood behind him, watching with tight jaws and folded arms. No one offered comfort. The wedding was over. Afterward, Jane disappeared from social media, changed her number, and moved to a quiet apartment across town. She took time off work, healing in silence. Her mother became her safe space, feeding her, praying with her, and reminding her that broken hearts still beat, but it will never be well with Lisa and Daniel. Jane cried a lot, but slowly she started to rise. Therapy helped, so did journaling. And one day she looked in the mirror and didn't see shame. She saw survival. She didn't seek revenge. She chose peace. Lisa was never heard from again. Daniel tried to reach out, but Jane never responded. She was rebuilding, stronger, wiser, whole. Months after the scandal, Lisa's life spiraled. Word spread fast. No one wanted to associate with a woman who betrayed her best friend. She lost her job after HR received anonymous screenshots. Friends distanced themselves. Even Daniel ghosted her, refusing to return her calls. She tried to act unbothered, posting filtered pictures and fake smiles. But behind closed doors, she was drowning. Rent piled up, invites stopped coming, and loneliness crept in. One evening, as she scrolled through Jane's new business launch online, flourishing and glowing, reality hit. Her envy had cost her everything. Nemesis didn't shout when it arrived. It watched her rot, silently. 1 year later, Jane's life blossomed. New business, new peace, no bitterness. One Sunday, she attended a wedding as a guest, radiant in a simple gown. During the reception, she spotted a man in a waiter's uniform. It was Daniel. Their eyes met. He froze, tray in hand. Jane held his gaze, calm, unshaken. Across the hall, Lisa served drinks too, eyes hollow, makeup barely hiding her shame. They worked for the same catering company. Jane smiled faintly and turned away, whispering to herself, "I was meant to marry him, so they could end up serving me." That day, revenge didn't speak, it just watched. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, like, and comment.